say good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2026. So, just one day shy from the NBA playoffs. Game 1 of the NBA playoffs will start tomorrow. There's 4 games tomorrow, and there's 4 more on Sunday in Game 1. So we are super looking forward to this weekend. So this is a path of excitement. I know how much I love this one here. So we're gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready to take this show on this very good hands. But this is gonna be an awesome weekend. We got NBA Game 1 playoffs tomorrow. We got WrestleMania 42 starting tomorrow. And then it ends on Sunday. So we're ready to rumble tomorrow. So this is going to be a huge weekend around in sports. NHL playoffs is also just around the corner. So there's a lot going on this weekend. So we are all looking forward to that in this one here. So we got to get ready. We got to get ready for this. We got to get super ready for this, if that's going to be the case. So you're going to love it. All right. I was going to talk about Magic and Hornets. I'll save that a little bit later on this in the same segment. But we're going to get started with your breaking news in the NBA. What happened yesterday. Luka Doncic and Cade originally did not qualify for the awards. And upon review, it has been determined that both Luka and Cade are eligible for NBA awards, despite Cade Cunningham played 63 games and Luka Doncic played 64 games. Luka was 1 game away from qualifying the awards, but they disqualified him. Cade was 2 games away from qualifying from the NBA awards, but if NBA public officials took a look at it, that both Cade and Luka are now eligible. So here's my question. Are you surprised both Luka and Cade deserve to qualify for the awards? Well, to me, I will say I am not surprised, because here's the thing. Luka missed 1 extra game because of a suspension, and the other one, birth of his child. So you would have took both of them away to disqualify him. So that's how but he actually qualifies, because that is not an injury related. They should change it next year. If it's a non-injury related, then it still counts a missed game, but it's not enough to disqualify him. However, for Cade Cunningham, he missed 19 total games. Most of them, I think he missed like roughly 11 to 12 games due to a collapsed lung. And then he came back late in the season. He's still come up strong. He finished 63 games. So he was just 2 games short from qualifying, but now he's qualified. That makes sense. Do you think these 2 will win the awards? No. But these 2 will deserve at least a first-team All-NBA. These 2 players will be at least first-team All-NBA. So Cade will be first-team All-NBA, first-team All-Defense, for sure, maybe second-team. Luka is probably first or second team All-NBA. I'm not so sure about that. But we already know what's going to happen between Luka and Cade Cunningham. But Luka returning will have to wait. Luka's returning will have to wait because of that. Those situations are going to matter themselves the most. But You cannot argue that. It doesn't really help themselves how they can put him right now here. For Cade Cunningham, he is having a historically good season. He's averaged over 25 points a game. I mean, it's just because he's top 5 in scoring in the NBA. Your new points per game for Cade is going to be really up. I mean, he's a terrific player. Is he the best player in the NBA by far? No. Is he going to be one of the best? Is he going to be one of the elite players in the NBA for the next 5 years? Yes. I believe he will be the most elite, one of the most elite players in the NBA in the next 5 years. Maybe they can win a championship. Maybe at least in the next 5 years or so. If the Pistons can keep their roster as much talented as they can. But it's really tight because it feels like Cade Cunningham is a really great player to watch, and hopefully he can be making a huge impact in the playoffs. But I do like the fact that these games are going to matter them the most in this one here. Meanwhile, for Luka Doncic, it's been a career best season as far as scoring. Finishing 64 games played this year, all starts. So, now he's qualified. He was 1 game away from qualifying. Just like Victor Wembanyama, because he played a couple of extra in-season tournament games in the semifinals and the in-season tournament championship round. But it's going to change that here in the playoffs. The San Antonio Spurs. But you got Luka Doncic, Los Angeles Lakers. If he makes the most impact here in the playoffs, that's a different story. There's a bunch of story you have to tell about that. Then you have to see. But the only biggest issue is his health. When he struggles with his health, they've been going through the same issues. Because of that. So the worst case scenario for Luka is just get over it. Get over the stuff that you've been half. Maybe you put yourself in its own differences. There's no questions asked. But this is a golden opportunity because it felt like those games are gonna matter. Hold on. Those games are gonna matter the most. When you win games, it's necessary. You're gonna take your stuff out of it. So it really decides it right now. It's just because we will have to see what's gonna be going on for this one year at this point on. So yeah. And then let's talk Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards' appeal is denied, so the ineligible awards for Anthony Edwards has been confirmed. It's upheld, I should say. Anthony Edwards has played his minutes per game is actually twice as down as last couple of years. Minutes per game have been up over the last couple of years between 2023 season, 2023-24 season, 24-25 season. This season, the minutes have been down for Anthony Edwards because he hasn't been active on the floor that much. His numbers, at times, he's put up good numbers, but he just hasn't generated he hasn't generated enough minutes to log on the court. But that's quite surprising. Because of that, you have to go through the same issues for Minnesota. That's why Minnesota Timberwolves team has been inconsistent, is their injuries. And that's going to hurt them in the playoffs for Minnesota. All right, let's move on. Let's preview today's play-in tournament battle for the 8th seed. Eastern Conference play-in tournament for the 8th seed. Charlotte Hornets will visit Orlando Magic in Orlando, Florida. The winner will face Detroit this Sunday for the 8 versus 1 matchup. So the Magic come off a tough loss to Philadelphia, struggling shooting the basketball. They struggle to take care of the basketball. Luckily tonight, they're home. They're comfortable in front of their home fans. Charlotte Hornets have been okay on the road. The Hornets have been okay on the road. They're not quite as good they're not solid on the road. They had some big road wins though. So I think Charlotte, we'll talk Charlotte in a couple of moments. The Magic, they're one of the most talented teams in the East to be the top 6 or top 5 in the Eastern Conference, or top 4. But the expectations have not necessarily met or exceeded it. It's tough. It's tough to navigate your expectations. It's tough to navigate wins against great teams. It's tough to navigate to stay healthy. So you're going to go through a handful of tough times. Can Magic break through tonight to ensure to keep their keep the playoffs intact? If they can't do it, then this has got to be the biggest failure in Magic history if they don't pull off this victory tonight against the red-hot Charlotte Hornets. Meanwhile, for the Hornets, they come off a thriller against the Heat in overtime when LaMelo did not shoot the ball. He did have 30 points and 10 assists, double-double in his last game, including a game-winning layup in the final seconds in overtime. And then Miles Bridges with a game-winning block against the Heat in overtime. So Colin Knaple had a rough play-in game as well, like 2 nights ago. Let's see if Colin performs well tonight in a 8th seed clinching game in Orlando. So, and it's also an elimination game as well for both teams. So whoever loses does not deserve to make the playoffs. Whoever wins deserves to be the 8th seed to earn the right to face Detroit Pistons this Sunday. So how important this game for the Charlotte Hornets? This is important because last time Charlotte had made the playoffs was 2015-16 season. And they took 7 games, ended up losing in 7 games to Miami. It was a great series. Despite the Hornets were down 2-0 and they were up 3-2. So I think if Charlotte does win tonight, then this series is going to be interesting. Should this series go to 6 games? Should this series go to 6 games between the Hornets and the Pistons if Charlotte wins tonight? If it's Orlando winning tonight, then I pick Detroit in 5. So this is going to be interesting. So if it's Hornets and the Pistons, I pick Pistons in 6. If it's Magic and the Pistons, I pick Pistons in 5. At least a sweep. So maybe most likely I pick Pistons in 5 if Magic wins tonight. If Hornets win tonight, I pick Pistons in 6. I think this series could go to the distance. So who am I picking between the Hornets and Magic tonight? I picked the Charlotte Hornets to win tonight's game. I think they deserve to go to the playoffs. Tip-off begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, so that's the one you really want to talk about in that one here. So let me preview the Pistons real quick. The Pistons have the best record in the Eastern Conference with a 60-22 record. Cade Cunningham, hopefully he's ready for the playoffs. Pistons have not won a playoff series since 2008. That's the last time the Pistons have won a playoff series was 2008. That was the Eastern Conference semifinals. Tayshaun Prince was on that roster. Kwame Brown, Rip Hamilton was on that team. Chauncey Billups was on that team. Rasheed Wallace was on that team. But it ended up losing the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. So it was I think Pistons beat the Magic in the second round of the NBA playoffs that year. So it was the best case scenario at that time, but if that's the case, it's a golden difference because of it. So this is the one you really want to see. It's just because of that, then it's a different story. There's no questions asked. There's something we really want to take care of, but there's no problem right now in this one. So hopefully that's not going to be the case right now. So it's I don't know. All right, so coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap, we're gonna talk about we're gonna preview the Warriors and the Warriors and Suns play-in tournament preview for the AC. The winner will face the Oklahoma City Thunder this Sunday, and then I'll preview the 76ers Celtics 7 versus 2 matchup, and also I'm going to talk Raptors versus Cavs 5 versus 4 matchup preview, and then Knicks versus Hawks 6 versus 3 matchup, and the Blazers and the Spurs 7 versus 2 matchup. So it's all coming up next right here on JDB's Morning Cap. All right, before we go to break here, we have some really tough news to share for you. The former Angels outfielder, the guy who won the 2003 Home Run Derby, a 3-time All-Star, and he was inducted into the Angels Hall of Famer. And also, he recorded a clutch 3-run double in Game 7 of the 2002 World Series against the San Francisco Giants. Garrett Anderson has died. Garrett Anderson is known as Mr. Anderson of the Los Angeles Angels. He's from the Los Angeles area. He spent 15 seasons out of the 17 major league seasons with the Angels. He played 2,013 games. He also recorded 2,368 hits, 489 doubles, 796 extra base hits, 2,092 runs batted in, 3,743 total bases. He finished his career with the Braves and the Dodgers. And Garrett Anderson also has 287 career home runs. So we are sending our condolences for the entire Anderson family, and this man will be missed. All right, tonight we have a play-in tournament for the Western Conference for the 8th seed. It'll be the Golden State Warriors will visit the Phoenix Suns. So the winner will face the Thunder this Sunday. Thunder is the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So we're going to keep our things in mind. Here, tip-off begins at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern between the Warriors and the Suns. So we're so looking forward to that tonight's game. Warriors come off an upset win last Wednesday against the Clippers. So let's see if the Warriors can get another victory to put themselves into the postseason for the 8th spot. Meanwhile, for the Suns, come off a disappointing loss, heartbreaking against the Trailblazers. Had a chance to make the playoffs for the 7th seed. They could not close it out. Suns will have another shot to close it out to earn the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. So let's take a look. The season series between the Warriors and the Suns. In 2025-26 season. Last time they met was February 5th. That was the last time they met. It was in Phoenix. So Warriors are 3-1 this season against the Suns in the regular season. But let's take a look at the season series who will face the Thunder, whoever wins tonight. For the Suns, in this year's regular season, including in-season tournament knockout round, the Suns is 2-3 against the Thunder. So the Suns are 2-3 this season against the Thunder, including an in-season tournament knockout round game. Thunder won the knockout round game. So right now the Suns are favored at home. So they have a better match. So if it's Suns and Thunder, this could be a potential better matchup for Phoenix, even though they may not win this series. So here's the thing. Should the Phoenix Suns miss the playoffs if they don't show up tonight? Well, if they don't show up tonight, then they can't make the playoffs. Because the Suns are 1-3 in the regular season against the Warriors. Last time they played the Warriors was February 5th. They blew a big lead in the fourth quarter, and they ended up losing by 4 points in Phoenix. So it's really tough. I mean, the Phoenix Suns, they need Devin Booker to get better. He needs to shoot the ball better. Devin Booker had a bad game last time out. He missed 5 free throws in a 4-point loss to the Trailblazers. Let's see if he performs better tonight. I mean, just inconsistency for Devin Booker. And he's also turned the basketball over as of late. I mean, let's talk about he's dealing with a right hip injury. And he's struggling in clutch situations as of late. He's struggling with his turnovers. Since he returned, he's averaged over 2.5 turnovers a game. So he's not taking care of the basketball. And Booker's shooting 83% at the line. So something is bothering with the 29-year-old Devin Booker. He's dealing with an ankle injury, right hip soreness. Something's not right for Devin Booker. I mean, he needs to get better as a whole. So hopefully that's not the case. Meanwhile, for the Golden State Warriors, they come off an upset win against the Clippers in Los Angeles this past Wednesday. Warriors try to overcome another one here tonight. Stephen Curry, hopefully they're not in minutes restriction. Hopefully they all go here today. So if it all happens, then this should be a good one. Warriors and the Suns, how Golden State can get off to a good start. It's not just Steph Curry, it's anyone else. Everyone else has to contribute other than Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Every one of the Warriors has to contribute, especially early in the game. That's going to be critical. It's going to be critical in the first 5 minutes. You've got to get off to a good start through the first 5 minutes of the game. That's going to be the key for the Golden State Warriors if they want to get the 8th spot of the Western Conference. This is going to be critical by going forward. if that's going to be the case. So I'll pick this tonight's game in about a couple more minutes. So let's talk about the Thunder. Thunder finished the best record in basketball for the second year in a row. Thunder finished the number 1 seed for the 3rd consecutive year in a row. It has been I won't say up and down. It has been an up and down season. Last year they were great. They won a championship last year. This year they've been going through some health challenges as far as injuries. Injuries of Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, a little bit of SGA. But SGA is having a great year. So, supporting cast for the Thunder has been okay, not that great. They can be much better in the postseason if that's going to be the case. It's really tough to neutralize in this one here. Well, I picked Thunder in 5 games. Whoever wins tonight's Suns and the Warriors game for the 8th seed. It's going to be critical for this one here. All right, who am I picking tonight? Who do I trust to win tonight? Suns or the Warriors? Okay, so this is interesting. For Phoenix, Devin Booker has not been right. And I don't know how he's going to perform. I don't know if he's going to be 100% by the NBA playoffs or by tonight. I'm not sure if it happens here at this point on, so it really doesn't know here. But for the Warriors, hopefully they're going to be in good position tonight. So if I will get to pick, I got to pick the Golden State Warriors to win tonight. I think they have a chance to take the W on the road because Phoenix, they suffered a late season collapse because Devin Booker has not shot the ball well since that 40-plus point performance against the Celtics. It's really, really tough right now. He had a tough game against the Blazers. He missed 5 free throws. So he's got to figure it out. All right, so coming up, we'll preview the 76ers and the Celtics. And then we'll talk about Raptors and the Cavaliers. And then we'll also talk Hawks and the Knicks and the Trailblazers and the Spurs. We'll preview all these games. And we'll be all right back in about 3 minutes. We'll be right back, y'all. All right, welcome back. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. And let's preview the 76ers and the Celtics. Number 7 is the 76ers. We'll take on number 2, the Boston Celtics. So let's take a look at the schedule for the Boston Celtics and the 76ers playoff schedule. We'll go like this. Game 1 will be Sunday in Boston. Then Game 2 will be Tuesday in Boston. Then series shifts to Philly. Game 3 will be Friday. Game 4 will be Sunday in Philly. And then, if necessary, Game 5 in Boston. Game 6, if necessary, in Philadelphia. Game 7, if necessary, in Boston on May 2nd, which is a Saturday. Game 6 is on Thursday in Philadelphia. So that's how this schedule works. 7 versus 2 matchup. So Celtics finished the season 56-26. We've just been talking about every step of the way. It's really cool to see. But taking several steps ahead. there's not much to say because of it. But it's not a problem. If this is an issue right now, and you said the Boston Celtics are a very good team. They won a championship a couple of years ago. You got now this year, it feels like there's no excuses. They're looking to win their second title over the last 3 years. You got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. These guys have played together for quite a long time, if that's the case. The guys like have to step up, like who's going to make a huge impact in the playoffs. You got Nikola Vucevic, you got Baylor Shireman, you got Luka Garza, Sam Hauser, Nemias Queta. It's going to be critical for the Celtics. Can this team navigate the first round and second round? I know they're facing some challenging teams. If you can beat Philadelphia in this series, I won't say easily. This is going to be a tough series this time, because last time these two have played, it was a seesaw series battle, and the Celtics beat the Sixers in 7 games. The Celtics does have Sixers playoff numbers because of that. The 76ers have not won this series against the Celtics in their franchise history, I believe. Celtics have dominated in the playoffs against the 76ers as far as series wins. Even they had some battles in that series. But let's catch this out. The Celtics have the second most Game 1 wins in the first round in the NBA. Who has more first round Game 1 wins in the NBA? The Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James has the most Game 1 first round wins since he joined the NBA. So here's the top 5 most Game 1 wins in the modern era. Number 1 is the Boston Celtics. Actually, number 1 is Los Angeles Lakers. Number 2, Boston Celtics. Number 3, San Antonio Spurs. Number 4, Chicago Bulls. Number 5, I believe it's the Number 5 is the Philadelphia 76ers, who has the most Game 1 wins by an active player roster. LeBron James remains number 1, Stephen Curry number 2, Jason Tatum number 3, Nikola Jokic number 4, Kevin Durant number 5, Jaylen Brown number 6. There's your top players who won the most Game 1 wins since only by an active roster, Game 1 wins. Not just in the first round, overall Game 1 wins. So, Jason Tatum, what's the record for Jason Tatum in Game 1s in every round in his career? He started in 2017. He beat the Bucks in Game 1 in 2018 first round. They beat the Sixers in Game 1 in the semifinals. Cavaliers conference finals, that's 3-0. And then Pacers 2019 playoffs, they beat the Pacers. And the Bucks, they get 5-0. And then 2020 bubble, they beat the Sixers. And the Raptors, so I think they won so hold on. Jason Tatum, what record is Jason Tatum in Game 1s in his career? So you went 3-0 in the first, 3-0 in 2018, 2-0 in 2019, make it 5-0. And then 2-1, they get 7-1. Then another loss, 7-2, win 8-2, then 8-3, 8-4, 9-4, 10-4, 10-5, 10-6. 11-6, 12-6, 13-14. Jason Tatum is 15-7 in Game 1s in his career. This will be his 23rd Game 1 start. That's the most by any player in franchise history. We offer the 76ers. What Sixers have to do to keep this series goes to the distance. Tyrese Maxey has got to play well. Kelly Oubre has got to be the X factor. And VJ Edgecombe's got to make a huge impact in the first round. That's going to be the key for them. Who do you think who's going to take the series? 76ers or the Celtics? I picked the Celtics in 6. I think Celtics wins in 6 games. I think it's going to be a good series. It's going to be a dogfight. So I think Celtics will win in 6 games. Don't be surprised if they go 7 games. So I think Celtics in 6. I think they should be okay with that. All right, coming up next, we will preview the Raptors and the Cavaliers 5 versus 4 matchup. And then we're also going to preview Hawks and the Knicks and the Spurs and the Trailblazers, and then we'll wrap things up. So it's been a great day of this JDB's Morning Cap. We will continue this right after this. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. Let's talk Raptors and the Cavaliers here. Number 5 seed, the Toronto Raptors take on number 4 seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game 1 will be tomorrow afternoon in Cleveland, Ohio. Game 1 of the first round Eastern Conference. So this is it. Last time the Raptors played the Cavs in the playoffs was the 2017-18 second round Eastern Conference semifinals. LeBron James was a Cavalier. DeMar DeRozan was a Raptor, along with Kyle Lowry. Dwayne Casey was the Raptors head coach. Tyronn Lue was the Cavaliers head coach at the time. And the Raptors were the best record in the Eastern Conference. They were the number 1 seed in the East. The Cavs were number 4 at the time. And the Cavaliers swept the Raptors in 4 games in the semifinals, including LeBron James' game winner in Game 3. So there's a little history between these two. Actually, there's history between these two teams. Also, rematch from 2016 Eastern Conference Finals. Cavaliers were the number 1 seed. The Raptors, I think they were number 2 at the time. And the Cavaliers beat the Raptors in 6 games. in the Eastern Conference Finals, and eventually they came back in a 3-1 NBA Finals deficit against the Warriors, ended up winning the NBA championship, the first and only time in franchise history. Cavaliers looking for their second one over the last 10 years. So we'll see how this is going to go. And that's going to be the case right now. So we just been talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's been an up and down season. We all know that. Sometimes you're going to go through some navigations, but it's really hard. You add James Harden at the deadline to hopefully they can get along with Donovan Mitchell. I mean, we've seen a lot of things about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last year, it was a great season. They won 64 games last year. Ended up a second round exit. They lost in 5 games against Indiana. And now this year, they're number 4 seed. They haven't necessarily met their expectations this year, but they're still dangerous in the playoffs. I think they're still dangerous in the postseason, despite they haven't exceeded their highest expectations. But they're still dangerous enough to get to the deep playoff run, despite their early season struggles. I think they're going to navigate themselves in an early hole towards the season and throughout the postseason, if that's going to be the case. But sometimes you're always going to learn it from it, and that's going to be critical by going forward. So that's the best case scenario you want to see, and you just been talking about all that. And some of that, it's gonna be a gold moment that you're gonna have, and it's tough to see that. And you like to say there's a lot of things that you can go back at it in this one here. Since the Donovan Mitchell era, since 2022-23 season, Cavaliers, let's see what the Cavaliers' record over the last roughly 4 seasons. Over the last 4 seasons, Cavaliers went 51-31 in 2022-23 season, lost in 5 games in the first round against the New York Knicks. 2023-24 season, 48-34, ended up losing the second round semifinals in 5 games against the Boston Celtics. Then last year, 2024-25, like I said, Cavaliers went 64-18. Second round exit, lost in 5 games to the Indiana Pacers. Then I'm gonna add, that was the Donovan Mitchell era. And then this year, Cavaliers are 52-30. And question mark, as the playoff result is a question mark right now. So how far the Cavaliers will go in the playoffs. I'm not saying I'm not taking Cavaliers this far, even though this is a critical one. As for the Raptors, how the Raptors made the playoffs this year, it has been a big turnaround this season. Raptors finishing the season 46-36, tied for the 5th seed. They had a tiebreaker with Atlanta based on a head-to-head sweep. Toronto this season has has been much better, or it has been surprisingly impressive, because when I look for Darko Rahovic, he has done a tremendous job coaching these young kids. And then you got players like Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly. Guys have been contributed offensively. And now those opportunities will be really expected to put themselves in a better position at the time around. But if you make one of those games, you will see all this. But the way it turns out, it's a really tough world in this situation. There's everything else you're going to navigate is winning basketball games. So Toronto Raptors, it's been an impressive season, 46 wins, 36 losses. Who would have thought Raptors deserve to be in the postseason? They've been going through some tough seasons over the years, but now Toronto has a chance to compete with the Cavaliers in this series. If Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly plays well in this series, I won't say they will win the series. I'm not saying they're going to win the series over the Cavs. I think Toronto will compete with Cleveland, because I think this could go to the distance as well. If that's the case. But it's not a problem because of that. So it does really help their cause a little bit. Okay. Who should I pick to win this series? Cleveland or Toronto? How far this series is going to go? Okay. I'm going to pick the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7 games. I think all 7 games, it will be 7 straight home wins by these two teams. Neither team is going to win a road game in this series. So I pick Cavaliers to win in 7 games. I love the Raptors. I think they'll compete, but I like Cleveland to take 7 games over the Raptors. Coming up next, in our final segment of JDB's Morning Cap, we'll talk the Hawks and the Knicks in the first round matchup. We're also going to talk about the Trailblazers and the Spurs matchup in the first round playoffs. And then we'll wrap things up and what's coming up on Monday's JDB's Morning Cap. We will step away in 3 minutes. All right, welcome back here. I'm going to preview 2 more first round series games. First one, it will be the Atlanta Hawks, number 6 seed, will take on number 3 seed, the New York Knicks. So let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks finishing the season 46-36. A much better stretch of the season. They got off to a slow start with Trae Young, and now Trae Young leaves to the Washington Wizards. And now the Hawks, one of the best teams, one of the hottest teams in the NBA since Trae Young trades to the Washington Wizards. I mean, the Hawks team just got better without Trae Young. They add CJ McCollum. The only guys have been playing well is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, potential most improved player of the year, and then Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson. They all made a huge impact for the Atlanta Hawks. We've seen some critical contributions for Atlanta, and hopefully these guys will play really well in this series. I think it's going to be a fun series to watch, Hawks and the Knicks. So hopefully that will be the case. it's going to matter because of that. They could enjoy themselves. And now this is what happened. If this team does not come by it. If that's going to be the half. This one is. But he cannot agree with this one here, and that's a big difference right now. So it should help. Meanwhile, for the Knicks, 53-29 was the regular season record. It hasn't been the prettiest season for the Knicks, but they still managed to end up the number 3 spot in the Eastern Conference. But Mike Brown's done a good job, understandable. But you like Jalen Brunson's chances, you like Karl Anthony Towns' chances. But I don't like the Knicks' chances at all, to me. Because here's the thing. The only thing I'm really concerned about, it's about the size of it. It's the athletic advantage. Hawks have more athleticism than the Knicks. Hawks are more physical than the Knicks. That is not going to help their bodies at all for the Knicks because of all that. The situations and all that stuff that you put in, you just got to put yourself into the work. And that's what happens. Because of that, this is not the opportunity you're going to face with. So I just don't understand what's going on for that one. So it really doesn't differentiate themselves here. All right, so who am I picking between the Hawks and the Knicks? Game 1 is tomorrow in New York. I know this is gonna be alarming. Most of all, I'm gonna pick the Atlanta Hawks in 7 games. I think this series will also go to the distance if that's going to be the case. So I think this series will go to the distance. I think they're going to win in 7 games. I just don't trust the Knicks because they're not physical enough. They're not athletic enough. They're not athletic enough to win a series. So Knicks do not force a lot of turnovers. So I think Hawks will have the advantage. All right, so let's preview the Western Conference first round. It'll be the 7th seed Portland Trailblazers will take on the 2-seeded San Antonio Spurs. The game series will be in San Antonio on Sunday through the first 2 games. Let's start with the home team. Let's start with the top one of the top seeds of the West. Number 2 seed, the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs finishing the season 62-20. It's been an incredible season. Victor Wembanyama, solid year. We've been talking about all this. Stephen Castle, Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson, Mitch Johnson as head coach. He's done a great job. I mean, I'm not losing my mind on this one. The San Antonio Spurs are a great basketball team. I think this team could win a championship. They can beat the Thunder in the conference finals. They got to beat Denver. They got to straighten out against the Denver Nuggets in the second round if they advance. They got to be they got to get past Denver and Oklahoma City. That's going to be that's how the Spurs, what Spurs need to navigate. They got to get past Denver, and they got to get past Oklahoma City. If they pass both of these tests, then the one test you need to be past either is Detroit or Boston in the NBA Finals. But I like the Spurs to go to the NBA Finals and win it all. If Victor Wembanyama plays well in the postseason, if they win a lot of games in the playoffs, they're a championship caliber team, without a shout-out. Even though Mitch Johnson is a young coach, I think I love Mitch Johnson. I mean, I love this team, I love this roster, and I love this franchise. But the Spurs team, I think they're a championship team. If they can get past Denver in the second round and they get past Oklahoma City in the conference finals, then they have a shot to win a championship. If they can get past either Boston or Detroit, whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference. But it's crucial for them. It is crucial. Meanwhile, for the Trailblazers, they come off a upset win in Phoenix against the Suns in a play-in tournament for the 7th seed. The Blazers, it's been an incredible year with no Damian Lillard for the entire season. Chauncey Billups stepped down because of a gambling betting scandal. Tiago Splitter has done a great job just putting this young team together. They add the veteran two-time NBA champion Drew Holiday, and then it was part of the Anthony Simons deal. And then you got Denny Avia having a solid year. And then you got Scooter Henderson. So these guys have played very well as a whole. Their defense is playing well this season. Offensively, they haven't shot the ball great this year, but that's going to help. Hopefully, it should help a little bit in the playoffs because of that. But I think the San Antonio Spurs, I think they're not concerned because of that. I think San Antonio Spurs will we'll see how Spurs have a favorable matchup against Portland. So it doesn't get any better than this, but it's just not going to matter here at this point on. So it wouldn't be the case. Portland Trailblazers, they deserve to get into the postseason than Phoenix because of all this. All right, so my question is, who's going to walk out to win the first round series between the 7th seed Trailblazers and the 2 seed San Antonio Spurs? Who do I pick to win this series, San Antonio or Portland? Well, I'm going to pick San Antonio in a convincing way. San Antonio will sweep the Blazers in the first round playoffs. I think Portland will compete some of these games, but some of these games, they're probably going to get demolished. So I think San Antonio will beat Portland in a sweep in 4 games. All right, let's close it out here on JDB's Morning Cap. What's coming up on Monday? We'll recap all the Game 1 games between tomorrow and Sunday. I'll talk about that on Monday. And then I'll preview Game 2 games for those who plays Game 2 on Monday in the NBA. So, and then we'll talk NFL draft. So next week is the busiest week in sports. NFL draft is next week in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'll talk first round on Thursday, and I'll recap that next Friday as well. Also, and it's a big week for me in JDB's Morning Cap next week, so it's going to be a really, really busy show. So we're going to keep things in mind about that here. So that will be the case in this one here. All right. This is JDB's Morning Cap. Hopefully enjoy your nice weekend. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.